Hello, Jordan.
What's going on, Michael?
I feel great.
I can tell you just had a good workout.
Had a great workout. Had a week and a half in Florida. I'm ready to go.
When are you going to move to Florida, though? When's that happening?
I've been thinking about that for the last 48 hours, and unfortunately, not for a number of years, I don't think. But it's in the works.
Well, I think that it would be better if you did. You love it there. That's like where you belong.
Yeah, I do love it. Sun, beach, water. I had a very interesting observation. So this is, what do we call this segment? I can't prove this, but, or maybe just
wow, we're jumping right in.
Well, no, it's just me riffing on something from my trip.
Okay.
Or not even that, but just pontificating on anti-science things.
Okay.
So it seems that annually, here, let's start here. I have really good lighting in my bathroom mirror, I realized, because for the last number of months, I feel like I look great. Like anytime I see myself, I'm like, yep, I look great. And then remember that moment on the beach a year ago where I was like, what happened to me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It happened again this year.
In Florida when you're on the beach?
Mm-hmm. I was on the beach after a month of like Christmas cookie degeneracy followed by 5 Chewy bars at night, like a solid December 12th to January 12th of, just degenerate nutritional behavior, gluttonous behavior on my part. And I was like, man, I really thought I looked good and I gotta dial things in.
Were you just looking down or were you looking in a mirror?
No. I'm not an idiot. I'm not looking down at skin folds and thinking I'm fat. Like this isn't 2006.
Yeah,
I understand.
No, I know. I'm just wondering where the vantage point was.
Oh, every angle. All angles.
Got it. Got all angles. Yeah. Were your clothes fitting differently?
No, not really. Because it's like low ab and low back is where like love handle kind of, it's all relative. I get it. But off of my norm, I'm like, this is unacceptable. So somewhat intentionally, somewhat unintentionally, I dial things in, like start eating more reasonably, only have one serving of dessert at night, like eat nutritious foods throughout the day, probably end up in a slight deficit some of the days. And my sleep got so much better.
Interesting.
I started remembering dreams for the first time in months. And instead of sleeping 9 or 10 hours, I would sleep 7 hours and wake up feeling fresh and ready to go. Wow.
Well, that's awesome. What is it? Just like less sugar, less like what was that the thing that you think you reduced most overall?
That's definitely the thing that I reduced the most. I don't know the cause, and that's why this is going in our anti-science or I can't prove this but section. Mm-hmm. Because I had always thought my sleep quality was better if I had, 2 bowls of Cinnamon Toast Crunch right before bed. And I thought that because if I wanted to, I could sleep longer. I could sleep in. There's something interesting there. With the dream thing too, like having very vivid dreams every single night.
That was something I didn't even realize that was like a marker to look out for, like whether or not I remember my dreams. Because sometimes I'll have a super vivid dream, but I won't remember it. But like, I don't know, that was vivid, but I'll be like, I still don't know what the hell it was. Like, I never even thought about like, does remembering it make a difference?
Look, it's definitely not a marker. And that's why we're talking about it here, because it's just a correlation that I picked up on. And there's...
What were your dreams about?
My dreams are weird, man. I don't even know. Like
dreams are wild.
I just woke up every day remembering some dreams, knowing that I was dreaming throughout the night versus it being like a gluttonous comatose of elevated insulin and like who knows what was going on during my sleep. There was something physiologically different in my brain.
I bet you were working out in your dream. I bet you were like lifting, like pumping iron. You were just getting these great workouts in.
I don't know that
You're like, God, that was vivid.
I don't think I've ever had a dream like that before. My dreams aren't like real life.
Yeah, no
one wants to hear us talk about our dreams. Dreams are just weird.
I bet they do. I want to hear about your dreams.
Well, I don't remember and I don't even know how to explain them.
Got it. Okay.
We could start keeping dream journals if you wanted.
No, I like rarely remember them, but I rarely remember anything. So I feel like that's not odd for me.
It's not even remembering versus knowing that I dreamt versus just being like dead at night.
Mm-hmm. Has your wife ever been mad at you for a dream that she had?
Versions of that for sure, but not like that exact thing. But why? Has yours?
Well, and I'm just thinking about dreams and like that just popped in my head. Like, yeah, my wife has woken up like upset with me because of something I've done in a dream. And I'll be like, you realize that didn't actually happen, right?
Yeah.
And she'll be like, yeah, I know, but like, I'm just in a really bad mood.
Are you walking us into like a masculine, feminine polarity driven by feelings versus not driven by feelings type of conversation that you want to have, or just?
Dude, I could, if you want to. I wasn't planning on it. That was more just like dream talk. What's something funny that happens with dreams? Oh, my wife does this sometimes. And that's it. And I was thinking like, I don't remember my dreams, but like my wife will wake up and she'll like remember that vividly. So yeah.
Yeah.
I had no like
intention.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But you're dialed now. You're on point. I feel like you've been on point for like a month straight.
No, I've been on point for 2 weeks.
And you feel good? How's your skin feel?
My skin.
You know, it's funny. You were saying that like you must have like good lighting in your bathroom. And I was imagining at that point that you were going to go down like my skin wasn't good from like eating like a degenerate.
Bro, if I ever start complaining about like my complexion as a 36-year-old man or telling you that like, you know, something about my skin,
you ever notice differences in your skin, like based on how you eat or drink or anything?
No, I don't pay attention to my skin.
Okay.
And I am always drinking water.
Yeah, you're super hydrated.
No, when I was talking about the mirror, I was talking about the mirror like physique.
Yeah, how you look. Yeah. Body fat levels, all that. Yeah.
You're living with 2 women a woman and a girl in the suburbs.
Dude, I know.
If you're thinking about skin like that,
I mean, not even that. It's more just I've noticed that as I've gotten older, if I'm drinking alcohol, my skin has immediate effects like overnight. And it never used to be like that. Like I'm not like thinking about, I don't even know what complexion means, but
it means like if you have pimples or not.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about pimples. My skin gets like dry to the point where like literally it like burns. Like it's so dry that it like burns next to my nose if I drink alcohol.
Oh.
It's
not vanity. It's like physical discomfort.
No, it physically hurts, dude. Like legit. Like if I drink, and it's not like a glass of wine, but like if I like start drinking, probably upwards of 2 glasses of wine or a couple of hard drinks, in the next day I will wake up and my face will hurt, which is just very odd. Yeah, it's just never happened before. And I meant to Google this. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was wondering if like there's any like allergies to alcohol. I meant to Google that. I didn't do it yet, but definitely something that's new for me. So I was wondering if like the way you eat ever affects that.
I'm sorry. I completely misunderstood your question. No, nothing like that has ever happened to me. And that's strange. I feel like I would, right? Like not concerning, but I would, I don't know, maybe ask someone about that.
Yeah, I mean, not concerning. Like, don't panic.
Well, I know you, so I didn't want you to. Yeah, I did not know that's what you meant.
I mean, your skin looks great. Skin always looks really good. What do you weigh right now?
What do I weigh?
Yeah, what do you weigh?
Dude, I don't weigh myself. Like Gary asked me this. He's like, what are you weighing? I don't step on the scale. I just kind of look and well, if I'm in a deliberate fat loss phase and I want to track progress, sure. But if I'm just kind of slowly gaining muscle, not really tracking, or don't have any serious fitness goals at the time, no, I'm not weighing in consistently.
When was the last time you weighed yourself?
Well, so that's what I'm getting to is I did weigh myself, partly because Gary asked and I wanted to tell him. and also because I was curious, like, oh, where am I at here? The highest I saw was 182.
Okay.
And I think that was after a day or two of non-degeneracy. So probably 185.
Oh yeah. So you waited to be on point for a couple of days before.
No, I didn't. It was when
that
was just the day
Gary
he asked.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Did you do it while he was on the phone with you?
No, just later that day. So that was a afternoon, but I had already been a little bit dialed, and now I think I'm 176 in the morning.
Oh, geez, you got rid of all that water real fast.
Yeah. Yep.
Did Gary ask you to weigh yourself recently? Like, was this like when you were in Florida?
I think it might have been right before I left. I weighed.
Oh, so you had a scale in Florida that you checked on. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
You should have like done the thing where you put your toe against the wall and been like 150 and then showed him the 150, but then like, psych, my toes against the wall, then showed him the truth.
That would have been good. Two can play this game.
I think I'm like probably like 150, between 152 to 154 in that range.
And how are you feeling?
Performance-wise, I feel great. I was thinking about this the other day, like yesterday. By the other day, I mean yesterday. I was running, and I was my zone 2 for 45 minutes. I was running at 6 miles per hour on the treadmill, just like easy zone 2, and it just felt no problem whatsoever, which was great. So performance felt really good.
All the stretching and mobility has helped, you think? Not in terms of endurance, but in terms of just like how you felt while running, joints.
No, honestly, I think it's just more like the extra carbs. I think it's just the extra carbs made because I put on some weight, right? Like when I did the what's it called? That like blood sugar challenge where I spike my blood sugar every day, and I lost like 12 pounds, and I was like low 140s, and now I've like gained like 10 pounds, but I feel like I perform way better. So I'm definitely fatter than I want to be. Like I think I could drop 2 to 4 pounds, and that's probably ideal for me. So get to like 150 and I'll be good. But yeah, the holidays and all of that. But like in terms of performance, I feel great. In terms of fatness, I feel a little bit fatter than I'd like to be. And but overall, I feel really good.
Have you been doing a good amount of cardio? I had thought your focus recently, at least in the last handful of weeks, had been very much stretching and mobility.
It is, but I usually do minimum 20, but usually 30 of zone 2, 5 to 6 days a week right now, unless I'm traveling, which I was just traveling for a couple days, but because I do that before I stretch. So I'll warm up with some zone 2 for a minimum 20, but usually 30. And then yesterday, I had got back from that trip and I was like, I just want to move. So I just went for about like 45 minutes. I was like, I just want to get some extra movement in. And I just felt really good. Like by the time I hit 30 minutes, I was like, you know what I was watching? I was watching that Andrew Schultz YouTube video, that like the compilation. Oh, the video of like where he was like picking on those 2 people in the front row that I sent you. And then from there, I got a recommendation for like a 30-minute compilation of his best moments from 2023. So I just watched that and I was like, I'm just going to keep watching this and I'll keep running. And it actually made the run go by so fast just watching his stand up, like some of his best moments. It was amazing. So yeah, usually I do zone 2 almost every single day, but before it was between like 45 minutes to an hour, and now it's between like 20 to 30 minutes usually. And I use that as my warm up before stretching.
Which 30 times 7, 210, like 3.5 hours a week of zone 2 is more than enough to get ample heart health longevity benefits.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's the primary reason that you'll keep a zone 2 base, even if you don't have like any kind of immediate cardio performance goals on the horizon, is for health.
Literally just health. Like that's it. I just health. I just want my blood moving through my body, you know? I just want that heart pumping. I just want to keep it going. I've had, just all health. That's really it. And I just feel better, dude. I feel so much better. I literally just finished right now. I did about 30 minutes of zone 2 watching this. Oh, which reminds me, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. I've been watching that Roman Empire thing while I've been doing zone 2 as well. And zone 2 just makes me feel great. And it's nice because I get that warm up before the stretching, and the stretching, dude, is so intense. It's not just sitting there static stretching. Like like for example, I was doing horse stance Zercher squats yesterday, and fucking A, dude, like it's brutal. Like increasing mobility in this way is absolutely devastatingly difficult. And it's nice because I know the reasoning behind it. There are many different reasons, but static stretching is like it works and it's great, but you don't get any strength benefits from it. This style of mobility work is inherently strength based and improves mobility at the same time, which is just, it's a really horrifying combination. And the work has been brutal, but also super, super effective and more time efficient. But speaking of the Roman Empire, I remember we had spoken about Commodus, and when we had spoken about Commodus, I hadn't finished. I had like just started, and so I finished that the whole season with Commodus, and I forget what your question was, but man, Commodus was wild, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he was crazy.
Then Joaquin Phoenix did a great job.
Oh yeah, he did. He did do an amazing job.
Trying to sleep with his sister throughout the entire show.
Oh shit! Yeah, did he do that? No, he didn't. He had his sister killed because, to be fair, his sister tried to kill him.
To be fair.
To be fair, Commodus' sister was pissed because she was older than Commodus, and she was super like she really wanted to be the leader of Rome. Was very power hungry, and so when their father died, as soon as Commodus was born, she was like 10 years older than Commodus. So as soon as Commodus is born, she essentially gets thrust to the side and be like, all right, well, here's my son, so he's going to be the one that takes over. And so she feels immediately when she's like 10 years old from then on that Commodus just gets the limelight, and everyone likes Commodus, and Commodus is going to inherit everything. And so she gets thrust to the side. So once he takes power, she essentially tries to assassinate him. And
were there female emperors?
No,
of Rome then? Okay, so she just thought it was her right as firstborn, even though that wasn't the custom.
Yeah, I mean, she was very power hungry and very smart, and she was very good at. She had super high contacts within the Senate, and she was really, really good. And so, in her mind, she was like, "I'm going to do this." And I should clarify, like, I don't know if there were female emperors before, but I'm almost positive that there were not. So the whole thing fails, and then he ends up like sending her, I think, to Capri, which is a couple 100 miles away from Rome, and then isolated island, and then he has her killed there. And he just got increasingly more and more and more paranoid that people were trying to kill him, which the more I'm learning about it, like, apparently that's a huge thing for people in power because everyone's trying to kill them all the time. So like every Roman emperor is paranoid, like every single one, because people are and poison is a huge cause of death at this point because it's so easy to use and like it's hard to trace, and someone close to you, like it was nuts, but people were being poisoned all the time. And so even Marcus Aurelius told Commodus, he's like, don't trust the Senate, don't trust anyone. They want, like, everyone's going to want to kill you, take your power. But then, dude, Commodus literally signs up to fight in the games. Commodus signs up to fight as a gladiator, which is like just crazy. Commodus was like, all right, if I want to win over the people, and he was obsessed with what people thought of him and how they viewed him. He was like, I'm going to be a gladiator. And he like hired the best gladiator of that time to train him. And I sort of don't want to spoil what happened in case you want to watch it, or in case someone wants to watch it. There was other stuff going on, but he literally entered the gladiator games as emperor, which is just nuts.
Yeah, that's what happened in Gladiator.
Crazy.
Yeah. So did he kill his dad in real life?
No, he did not kill his dad. His father died naturally.
But his father wanted him to be emperor?
Yes. Yeah.
So Ridley Scott took a lot of creative license in that one.
Correct. Assuming, and I have no reason to believe that the documentary isn't accurate, but assuming this documentary is accurate, there was significant creative license.
I forget the name of the theory or whatever it is, but basically when you have expertise in one area and you see something like a documentary, for example, put out around nutrition, for example, and you're like, oh, this is complete bullshit. Like a What the Health, and then it makes you think like, okay, well, what about these other documentaries in areas I'm unfamiliar with?
Yeah.
Like, so, I'm sure it's reasonably accurate, but you almost have to take everything with a grain of salt.
I would imagine there are historians that would completely disagree with that, because they show historians saying this and this and this, but in What the Health and everything, they have nutritionists that are completely agreeing with it. So I guarantee there are historians that are like, that's not true. That didn't happen at all. So I'm absolutely sure, but they've done a great job with the documentary series. Like it's super
enjoyable.
Well done. And
what's
the
name
guy
of it?
who plays Commodus is fucking shredded. Like, dude, like put in work. He's absolutely shredded. I think
natty?
It's just called.
Does he look natty?
Yeah, he looks natty. I mean, he looks natty, just like super lean, but a significant amount of lean mass as well. It's just called Roman Empire on Netflix, and I think there's 3 seasons.
Oh, this is a show, not a documentary.
Yeah, but like it looks like a documentary style show.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, they essentially what they've got going on is they have historians coming in, giving their opinion, and they've hired actors to act out the scenes, but it's narrated like a documentary is, and they have historians coming in, but then it's also, they have the show version as well, it's really cool. It's like, it's super well done.
I don't see any shirtless, but shoulders and arms look quite natty. Good for him. Speaking of entertainment, have you seen season 1 of True Detective?
No. Is it good?
Bro, have you ever seen the memes or the GIFs of Matthew McConaughey where he's like quite frail looking and he's smoking a cigarette and he looks like he's cracked out of his mind?
Yeah. Is that from that?
That's from True Detective season 1 with McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Is that his name? Guy from White Man Can't Jump. Unbelievable show. It's only 8 episodes.
Really?
I finished it last night. I can't believe 2014. So 10 years ago. I can't believe I didn't know about this. It's very good.
And how many seasons are there?
There's a bunch of seasons, but it's one of those where it looks like every season is
and everything.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. You binged it?
Yeah, I watched it in a short period of time.
Okay. All right. I'll watch that. That'll be next.
Yeah. It's really good.
Okay. You ever watch Narcos?
Yeah, I think I did. Netflix.
Yeah. Just started watching that. Like actually, like a month ago, my wife and I like watched the first episode and got super in it, and I haven't watched the second one yet. But yeah, really good so far.
Should we dive in?
Dude, let's do it.
Oh, actually, I got an email we're going to read first.
Cool.
From Kristen. So no question here, just a quick email. Hey, Jordan and Mike, don't worry, no cold calling here. Just wanted to chime in as a Canadian who loves talking about hockey. Go Leafs, go. Big fan of the hockey talk from the Jan 23rd pod. I wanted to recommend a documentary, speaking of documentaries, that does a deep dive into the role of the enforcer/fighter in hockey. The NHL
I've been
game
wondering about this.
The NHL game, as you see it today, is totally different than hockey from the 90s. The culture of violence was part of the game, and the sport thrived on fighting. See Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em vids. I wanted to recommend a documentary called The Last Gladiators, 2011, Netflix. It's a cool look at the culture of fighting in hockey and the guys who took on the role of team enforcer. I don't think you have to be a hockey fan to enjoy this one. It does touch on other relevant aspects of the sport, concussions, mental health, and life after the sport, hockey talk or not. Thanks for the consistency. Great weekly content from your number one Leafs fan, Kristen. Thanks for the email, Kristen.
Awesome. I love that. That just got me hyped up. Hyped up. And I sent you a sick video this morning of this guy on a hockey team. I think his name was number 25. He was just going around and like going at everybody on the team, trying to fight everybody.
Like dove into the opposing team's bench. Insane.
It's funny because in mixed martial arts, the worst thing that you can call a fan is casual. Like, oh, you're such a casual. Like, that just means that you don't really know what you're talking about. So in terms of hockey, I'm a casual. I just don't really understand very much, but I love it. And one of the comments that I see in the comment section from people who know more than I do is what Kristen was talking about, how like it used to be like a player nowadays wouldn't survive in the 90s because the fight culture was just so much different in the 90s. It's like so much more intense. And whereas now apparently it's not nearly as much like what Kristen was saying. So I want to watch that documentary.
Interesting. Yeah, that probably makes sense. I just remember none of the superstars like Gretzky, Lemieux, like none of those guys had to deal with the physicality like like Sidney Crosby did over the course of his career, for example.
Got it.
But I mean, that's very likely due to enforcer culture, but also just like I don't know, respect for the game or some kind of something different.
Would suck to be one of the shitty players just constantly getting hit.
Yeah, but constantly getting hit to play a game you may or may not love to make a lot of money.
Dude, are you playing hockey? Are you going to join a league or what?
I want to skate outside, but it's too. I know I did. I want to skate outside a little bit, but we don't have ice here because it's 40 degrees in January. So
get your rollerblades on. Mighty Ducks it. Mighty Ducks.
We'll see. Yeah, I got to get on the ice. It's also really good cardio, so there's that benefit.
Yeah.
You want to Q&A it?
All right, so here's one. This is from Margot. Margot's in the mentorship.
What's up, Margot?
She put it in my Q&A, and I remember being like, I want to answer this one, but I was on a plane in the airport, and I was like, I want to like spend time actually thinking about this. So Margot just asked in the Q&A, she said, what's one thing you would tell your younger self? There's a lot of room with this, right? Depending on how young, depending on what, realm you want to talk about. So there's a lot of places we can go with this. Do you want to kick this one off?
You lead us off. She asked you.
Well, she asked both of us because we're reading the Q&A. And she probably knew. She's like, all right, they go through the Q&As. Margot's killing it. Margot's making some great content. Maxwell Fitness __. Shout out Margot. Okay. What's one thing you would tell your younger self? Man. So my thought immediately goes to the first thing I have to realize is if I'm talking about like 18-year-old me, it's going to be very difficult to get 18-year-old me to believe what I'm saying about anything, because 18-year-old me was super like, I know everything. That was just where I was when I was 18. So I'm thinking that, I don't know why this is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's going to be the first thing to say, and then I'll caveat it as well. But if I could really instill something in 18-year-old me, it would probably be more something along the lines of like, hey, stop taking things so seriously. Like I was overly just like, everything has to be serious. Everything has to be serious. And whether it was what someone said to me or what someone said about me or about my attitude towards whatever I was doing, about what I was trying to, it was just like, it's so serious. It's so serious. Everything is so serious. And I like, for example, and this is actually going to go against what I'm saying right now, but I remember the only things that I read at that time were just fitness stuff. It was just fitness, all fitness. Science, fitness, nutrition, strength training, powerlifting. And I don't regret that at all, by the way. I remember my mom being like, why don't you try reading something else? And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I really don't want to. I wasn't interested in anything else. So I wouldn't change that. Like, I wouldn't try and force myself to read something that I wasn't interested in. But it was more just my attitude and mentality around it. It was just like, it had to be serious. Like, everything was serious. I have to 100% right, 100% like, no matter what, it was serious, serious, serious. And now I'm just thinking about Heath Ledger, why so serious, Mm-hmm. But I was so serious all the time. And I think it got in the way of my happiness and got in the way of enjoying certain things. And so, yeah, I would probably hopefully try to instill within younger me, like, hey, stop being so fucking serious. Like, relax, smile, take a breather. You're fucking 18, 20, 22, 24, chill. You're young, like, just fucking relax. It's not a big deal. Just relax. That's probably what I'd say.
I like it.
What would you say?
I would tell, if we're going with 18-year-old self, I would tell my 18-year-old self to always trust your gut and intuition. Because the times that I have acted on my intuition, even and especially when it was at odds to societal norms or what advice other people were giving me, it ended up being way better for me. And every time I went against my intuition, even if I didn't know it in that month or that year, in the future, it ended up being much worse for me. And I can give a lot of I can give the positive examples very easily, right? Like quitting my accounting job when I talked to so many people about it and nobody thought it was a good idea. You just got a master's degree. You got your CPA license. You're at a big 4 firm. This is like you're doing so well. You're just getting your career started. But I just felt the weight of like these chains in my day-to-day life and felt like I would have such regret if I didn't quit and try something else. So that was an example of listen to intuition, good thing happened. I don't think I have examples of ignoring my intuition and a bad thing happening related to like this podcast, right? Like related to business or even my own personal fitness. I feel like I've been pretty, I'll never forget my mom being like, probably not concerned isn't the right word, but maybe just like a little, not even fed up. I don't know. I don't know what she was thinking, but she asked me very like sweetly, like, hey, when do you think this macros stuff is gonna, like, when do you think you're gonna stop talking about this macro stuff? And I was like, never, Mom. And
was this like, had you already started writing on the website and stuff?
I don't remember. It was definitely around that or just before. So somewhere in
were
that
you
just
saying like
started.
This was going to be a business of yours or something? And you're like,
no, I think I would just talk about it a lot. And like, she maybe thought I was, maybe had slight concern or like, I don't know exactly. And it could have just been me taking it the wrong way, right? Like taking it seriously. And maybe it was just more out of curiosity on her side. Like, hey, you're really into this like new thing. But there's some other ones that are like, I would call pretty important. That I'm debating whether or not we want to talk about, but why not? Ignoring my intuition around like hookup culture and instead going down that path, which was primarily driven by ego and like desire for validation, as a younger dude wanting to be liked by women and like wanting that positive feedback, was definitely net bad in the long run. Like, and I think that hookup culture, meaning just like, where we're at, where Gen Z is at today, or maybe even like some younger millennials, maybe everyone who's single, I don't really know, a lot of people, but where it's just a lot of casual hookups without any kind of relationship, is not only probably, and I'm not telling people what to do.
It's just for you. It's your own personal thing. That's it.
Yeah. Although I even hate that I even put that caveat on there, so soft, but I not only think it's probably net bad for society, but net bad for the individual too, male and female. This isn't like you need to keep your body count low, but it's like, I think for both men and women, it's not good. So that was an area where I would argue that knowing internally, like, this doesn't necessarily seem right, but succumbing to what I hate, society is so vague and like, but I can't think of a better word, like just doing the norm rather than trusting my intuition.
Was there anything that like led you to have that intuition? Like, were you listening, like your dad, or was there anyone that led you to have that intuition? Because I know like JP obviously later in life, but like was that intuition purely from within you always, or like was there other books? Was there something that led you to that, or that was just purely within you from the beginning?
Yeah, it was probably like upbringing and parenting kind of at a younger age, like teens. but I think we have an innate sense of, I don't think that morality is just a pure like social
Subjective
contract or molded by your surroundings. I think we as humans have that installed in us. So I would have to think about that a little bit, but yeah, later on into my 20s, there were definitely information I was consuming that helped either build or strengthen or reaffirm that intuition.
Makes sense.
And maybe just the experience of life. But that's why, you're giving advice to your younger self. So you get to take potential mistakes or things that you went through and then give advice to.
Yeah. Good answers. Good question, Margot.
Good question, Margot.
What is your sleeping position?
Oh, this is maybe my favorite question I've ever heard. This is so important. You didn't know
as soon as I saw.
No.
I knew.
You didn't know before. Question. No, you didn't know how much I'm going to love this. Okay.
The more like obscure the question, the more you love it.
Yeah, that's kind of true, actually. That's kind of, you know what? That is very true. Because on JP's personality assessment, I scored very high on openness. I think it's one of the ideas why I was always so resistant to make the same piece of content twice, because a lot of like interest is driven by curiosity and new ideas, not by other things. And so, yeah, obscurity is a metric for how much I care.
The ooh that you gave when I said that question was like an ooh that I gave when like I was going through the candy that I got on Halloween as a kid, and I found like my favorite. I was like, ooh,
yeah, dude. No one talks about this, and you constantly have people who are like, "All right, can it? All right, this is important. Get your laughs out. All right, get them out."
Okay, keep going.
I'll have clients who are like, something with my shoulder, like I feel like maybe I slept funny, I feel like I slept wrong, who consistently do like sleep on your side with one pillow on like a crummy mattress in this like, there is an optimal way to sleep. And I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay.
Probably varies a little bit from person to person, but I'm going to tell you what works anecdotally. All right. You sleep on your side. You get a pillow stack, whether that's one big pillow, two little pillows, like however you want to do it. But you get a pillow stack where your neck is neutral. You don't want to have like a really, really flat pillow where you're sleeping like this, pillow on head, I'm sleeping on my side. And you don't want this ginormous pillow where you're in side flexion this way. If you're on video, you can see, but I'm just tilting my head from side to side, right? You want your neck neutral while you're sleeping. What feels really good for me and what I have heard from a lot of people is having a big pillow between your legs is going to lead to a lack of hip/low back pain. Having a pillow in front of you, so you're sleeping on your side, you got a pillow in front of you for your top arm to be on, so you don't have this, like, if you don't have that there, then this arm's just falling here. You got this internal rotation of the shoulder, avoiding that. Wedging a pillow behind you and kind of under you. It's a 5-pillow solution. This is our 5th and final pillow. Because when you're sleeping on your side, if you don't have a pillow behind you and you're straight on your side, what happens is you're essentially like crushing the down shoulder. Okay? Because you're sleeping right on it. That's where you can wake up with your whole arms like numb and tingly, or just that's where pain over time from sleeping on that shoulder can occur. So by wedging a pillow behind you, you're not going to be sleeping directly on your side. You're going to be tilted at a slight angle back because you have that pillow supporting you, which allows you to get your bottom shoulder out in front of you. So you're on your side, but your bottom shoulder is slightly out in front of you. So you don't have all your weight on that shoulder. You have the shoulder slightly out in front of you. Okay. And then bonus, You can have another pillow on the other side of I do this on the other side of the front pillow where you're going to have your hand from your bottom arm on top of the second pillow.
On top of it?
Yeah.
Why on top?
You'll know if you're in the position and you're laying there, you're going to be like, my hand naturally wants to be like 2 inches in the air. Your bottom hand naturally wants to be because of the position you're in. And so giving that hand support rather than having it like fall straight on the bed and have like a little bit of torque on your shoulder. I have a guest bedroom back here. I'm very tempted to grab a bunch of pillows and do this right now.
No, it's okay. You don't need to go.
And I kind of want to. I feel like it'd be good content.
You want to go show everyone on YouTube how you do this?
Well, guess what? We have video on Spotify too.
Okay. I mean, how are you going to bring the mic and everything?
I'm going to bring the pillows to the people. I'm not going to bring the people to the pillows. Watch.
Okay. Yeah. Go.
This can't be that hard, right?
We're going to have to make this a clip.
This is good shit. All right. You see me all right?
Oh, yeah.
2 pillows. These are head pillows. Okay. This is the wedge behind you. This is the in front of you pillow. We need a 6th pillow. We don't have it. I'm going to use this blanket. Pretend this is pillow number 6. Bro, this could change your life. All right, so here we are. We're on our side. We're going between the legs. All right, I'm here. These pillows are kind of flat, but bigger pillows are better. You got this one here. Pretend this is a pillow. Got my 2 pillows for my neutral neck, and then I jam this under me so I can have a slight lean back. Here. Oh my gosh. Best night's sleep you'll ever get. And you're not going to be in pain, complaining about your shoulder, neck, etc., low back.
If that doesn't motivate someone to go watch on YouTube, I don't know what will. I had never expected that. That was amazing. Yep. That reminded me of like a real like 2012 style exercise video technique. And that was amazing. That was awesome.
We need to bring back 2012.
Is that how you sleep every night?
Yes. Essentially, yes.
Wow. Dude, I love that.
So do I.
Dude, that's great. You know, it's funny you brought up the neutral neck. So I figured that out within the last couple of years that was causing some issues. I got this pillow. The company sent it to me and I like never shouted them out and I felt sort of bad. But like it's great. I think it's called the Cube. The Pillow Cube. So they sent me one and I use it every night. I need to shout them out. I need to put something on Instagram. I literally use it every night. They sent it to me like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And it's essentially, it takes away the need to have multiple pillows stacked up. And it's just like, it has that elevation to it where it's a soft pillow, but it's in the shape of a cube so that your shoulder isn't jammed and your neck isn't like this. It's just like a nice right angle style cube.
Nice.
And really good. So I don't do the six pillow solution that you've got, but which by the way could be the name of a book or something.
It's a mistake right there.
I do have either, if I'm traveling, I don't travel with the cube, but like I've got the pillows to make sure that my neck is neutral position. And then sometimes I'll do the one pillow in front of me, just like that, like the bear hug. But I don't have the one wedged behind me or the one in between my legs.
Well, you're partway there, you know? You keep at it and eventually you'll see the light.
You'll see the light. Awesome.
I like that you mentioned a specific kind of pillow because, you know, finding a pillow that works for you. Dude, 1/3 of every day times a lifetime in bed. Like, why would we not optimize darkness, noise reduction, temperature, like bedding? I mean, unless you're in your grind first year or two warrior phase, you're spending $0, in which case, sleep on the floor and work your face off, great. But once you get past a certain point, the ROI of high quality sleep is so massive.
Dude, you're preaching. Especially like everyone talks about how sleep makes it more difficult to lose fat, or sleep makes more difficult to do X, or less sleep. Sorry, less sleep. But like the reality is, even if everything is normal, like on a normal day, less sleep just makes everything harder.
Yes.
Like shitty sleep makes life harder.
Yes.
Period. End of story. Yeah. 100%.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, here's one. This one is, it's about the inner circle, but I think it's important to discuss on like this business podcast, because it's someone asking, and these questions I get from my Syatt fitness page. So someone said, I would love to join the inner circle, but I'd rather pay monthly. Do you have any thoughts on allowing that? And I just want to quickly talk about it because, number one, I was just speaking at a couple of events this past weekend, and there were a bunch of coaches there were newer coaches, and they get it. As soon as a client or a potential client says they want something, they're almost always inclined to just be like, I'll give you what you want. I'll give you whatever you want. You want that? Yeah, we'll do that. Like whatever you want. And I don't think that's a good strategy for business. Just like whatever they want, just giving it to them, because eventually you're going to have 76 different offers based to try and fit every single individual. And you're going to try and make everything perfect to that person, which is going to drive you insane, and it's going to ruin your systems. You're going to give maybe you start everything out on an Excel sheet, but then someone else wants it in a PDF, and then someone else wants it in an email, and someone else wants to communicate with you via DM, and then someone else wants to communicate with you via an app, and then someone else wants this pricing. It's like you need to come up with your systems and your pricing and your offer, and that's it. And this is it. And it doesn't mean it can't improve over time. My systems are changing and improving all the time. Even in the mentorship, we just changed the pricing and the systems for that. So now if someone wants to join the mentorship, they need to apply, which if you want to apply to join the mentorship, you can do that at the link in the description. But we can constantly try to improve, but improving doesn't mean giving everyone what they want. Improving means making systems better for you and them overall. And sometimes what's best for you and them overall is something that maybe they don't like. And that's okay. And so in this example, someone's saying, well, can I pay monthly? No, absolutely not. I used to offer that up until like 2017, until I realized that allowing people to pay monthly was actually causing more harm for them, because as if they paid monthly, then they expected results in a month. It's like, all right, it was subconscious, but it's the same reason why I don't do month-to-month agreements in fitness. If I have someone sign up for a fitness program with me, they are required to have at least a 6-month commitment. And we talk a lot about this in the mentorship. You don't have to start with 6 months. Early on, I was like, okay, minimum 3 months, then 4 months. Eventually it came to 6 months, but it was a minimum commitment that they had to sign on with. And that's essentially what I have with the inner circle. It's a minimum 3-month commitment. And when people sign up for a minimum of 3 months, they're more likely to succeed. They're more likely to, by the end of the first month, not think they're a failure, because it's a 3-month minimum commitment. But if you have them sign up for a minimum for just 1 month, by the time they get 2 weeks in, they feel like they haven't made any progress, and then they just quit. They didn't even give it a real chance. So no, there will never be a change to allow month-to-month options.
Yeah, great points on not capitulating to demands from a small percentage of individuals, right? Most people who are signing up for a program, who sign up for your coaching, like they're not going to try to change the program and not going to make like, oh, can we do this different? Can we do this different? Some will, but most don't, which is great.
Correct.
In your exact example, there's something to be said about the pricing for a membership being lower than the pricing for coaching, and you charging 3 months at a time for the inner circle, where it's more affordable, right? Like it's not like you're charging $400 a month times 3 months, like having someone pay $1,200 up front to get into a fitness program, right?
Correct.
It's I don't know exactly. I know prices might be changing soon, but it's much lower than that.
Correct.
So 3 months of being in the inner circle is very affordable.
Correct.
Right? Like less than a month of one-on-one coaching. So you can also, like from that perspective, it's not like you're asking for something outrageous. It's still affordable. And there's just so much good content in there and workouts and everything that to give somebody the ability to sign on for 1 month and then just immediately cancel is like, I don't know if that was part of your rationale at all, but from my perspective, it is like, I wouldn't want that if I were in your shoes.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And the same reason why we have a minimum commitment with coaching is not only like, are there business reasons for it, but by having a client mentally commit to a minimum time frame, they're not going to immediately think, I'm going to quit and try something else when 11 days in, like something happens, go off the rails, binge, scale goes up 3 pounds. It's like, oh, this isn't working, and cancel isn't an option when you've mentally committed to 4, 6, or even a longer time frame.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right.
Sweet.
Sick. Good pod, bro.
Good pod. Thank you very much for listening. Weekly uploads here in 2024. We hope you're having a great start to your year. We'll be back next Tuesday. Instagram at Personal Trainer Podcast. Our man Syatt Fitness is crushing 3x a week uploads. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, occasionally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if there's a conflict, but 3 days in a row.
No BS, no excuses. Just gets it done.
He just gets it done. Regardless of how he feels, he does it because it's his duty.
Yeah, I literally never feel like posting it. I never feel like posting it, but I do every day, every 3 days a week.
Duty and responsibility to post. And so you do.
No pontificating, no capitulating.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah. Just do it right away. Let's let it rip. 2024.
Have a wonderful day.
See you soon. Goodbye.
See ya.